All right, guys. Thank y'all for coming here today. And we are sponsored by Mixed Dirty Soda. So cheers, girls.
Woo!
Cheers.
Thank you. Non-alcoholic Mixed Dirty Soda Company here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you to our sponsors.
So good.
Delicious.
Okay, Mara Palermo, my relationship coach / best friend / she does my extensions, my nails, but not these nails. Don't look. Don't look at them. Best friend for sure, but also my relationship coach. And that's why you're here today, to talk about how you've saved my life. Truly. I shout your name from the rooftops. And so I'm excited to hear how you've impacted other people's lives as well. My first question for you, and so I have all my questions on the phone. Yes. I would love to know everyone's relationship status when y'all first started working with Mara. And you can say too, like when you started working on yourself, because you're your own client, I know for sure. But I was just recently broken up with, and that's when I decided to work with Mara, because I realized that it wasn't him, that I had the problem. I was like, there is a pattern, and it was like the third or fourth boyfriend, and I was like, this is a me problem. And that's when I finally hired Mara. So mine was recently broken up. What was yours?
I was in a relationship, in a pretty solid relationship at the time, but I also was working on myself and just realizing that I was the one that was in control of a lot of the things.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship, trending towards single, at the end of a relationship, and I think I knew it, and you just totally guided me, so yeah.
Awesome.
That's so good. Yeah, my journey started many years ago. Very first toxic relationship was my early 20s, I think it was. God, I was like maybe 19, 20 years old. So that just opened up so much for me. And I used to think that I just had to find somebody else. We just got to find someone else. That's it. Yeah. And then I started noticing the same things over and over again. And at the time, I owned a salon and also was a business owner, didn't really know much about relationships with employees because that was fun. And so what I found was everyone having the same kind of patterns over and over again. I was hearing the same thing every time my clients were coming in. So my journey started many moons ago, and here I am now helping other people.
Thank God for it.
Yeah.
Thank God for it. I love it. I would love to know what everyone's biggest struggle was when we first started. And so, Mara, we're going to go around and say what that is. And then I want you to say like what you observed, what was truly our biggest struggle, because I think what we think was our struggle wasn't really our struggle. So,
right.
Izzy, I'll start with you. We'll go this way.
Okay. My biggest struggle was, really knowing my worth and my value and kind of just following a man. So, I mean, whatever you say, okay, yep, I'll be there, I'll do that, I'll go above and beyond. And then not receiving it was really hard for me. So I was constantly triggered, always. And, I had to kind of learn that. So I think the biggest struggle was really not knowing my boundaries, what I want, and who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say similar. When I first met Mara, I was an anxious wreck. Like in a relationship and at work, probably just corporate America, very just anxious. And it also just, everything was tied to my self-worth. And I felt like if I just did more for everybody, then maybe I would be worth it. But, definitely not there anymore. I actually don't even consider myself anxious anymore, which is wild, right? I remember when I first went to one of Mara's things, I literally laughed out loud when someone was like, I'm secure with myself. Like, I'm in a secure relationship now. And I just thought like, yeah, okay. But I think I'm legitimately in a secure relationship. And again, like most importantly with myself because of you.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
I love that. I think for me, would love to know what you think it was. But it's funny that you said it worked too, because I didn't even realize how much my relationships were affecting work. I very much thought they were two different things. And all relationships. But for me, I recognized my pattern was that I kept dating men that I knew I didn't really want to commit to. And I would get in long-term relationships. It's embarrassing to say that out loud because people are like, wait, y'all dated 4 years? I'm like, And they're like, but you didn't want to marry him? I'm like, mm-mm. And so it is embarrassing to say that now, but it was a pattern when I realized it. And it was just like, why? I didn't understand the why I was doing it. And therapy wasn't helping. So would love your perspective from each of us, what you saw that we actually needed.
Yeah. I would say for Izzy, when I first started working with her, well, everyone kind of comes in the same way. They come in hot, okay? It's like, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like it's very emotional and very stuck in this this place where the belief isn't there. The belief isn't there, meaning they don't believe in themselves. They don't think they're worth more. And they're not aware of it. That's what it is. And I think that's what's the hardest thing sometimes, when you're not aware of it. Then it was like a light switch. We started working together. And then I would say she was like clinging on to this relationship. I think deep down she knew, though, it wasn't the relationship for her. But there's fear that's there. And so when that comes into play, I go heavy on helping them to raise their worth and to put you on the pedestal. Once you get on that pedestal, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
He was out.
Yep.
She was someone new. She's doing all the things for herself, because you have to put yourself on that pedestal.
Instead of someone else.
And yes, instead of someone else. And so when there's resistance that's there, that's just like the longer we just stay in the cycle. But once you're able to say like, okay, let me try. Because I will say this, she was very diligent on all of the tools and the exercises. So I'm not surprised that it happened so quickly for her. But that's what I saw, was just like, she's not seeing herself here. She's only seeing him.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
And what about Angela?
Angela. Okay, so she's so funny. No, but it's very much the same thing, except for a lot of her. I felt like a lot of her stuff that was going on was stemming from her relationship at work.
Right.
It was like work related. A lot of it was, and she didn't see her own worth either, that she was enough, because she was like she was staying up for like 2 days working.
Literally, it's like,
She'd get on a call and be like, I haven't slept in 48 hours. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So that was a huge thing. But then it was spilling out everywhere else because she was exhausted. And so things were happening at home. And so anyway, so once we were able to, boundaries was a huge thing for her.
Yeah.
She really started to set boundaries. It was amazing. Because remember when that shift happened with your work, and they were like, basically, she lost her position. She was so afraid to lose her position. That's so you cling on, you do more, right? All the things. And then the day that they fired her, she was like, "Yeah, I don't even. It's great, actually."
It was
like
the
she was
best
just like
day of my life. Like it literally was the best day ever. Everything
great.
since has been so great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was like her. Like that was why it was so funny. So that's that. So with Stetson,
We can pass.
I don't wanna hear it.
I'm kidding.
Well, I've known Stetson, personally though, for a long time. So there's like, we've been through all these peaks and valleys. I've seen her through different, relationships, but also relationship with her habits. And so what I would say is, for her, the biggest thing was her emotional regulation.
For sure.
I think the big thing was there were a lot of triggers going on that would set her off a lot. And also, when she did break up with that guy, that was the first time she ever moved in and was living by herself.
Yep.
Because she always had to have like a roommate or someone.
I didn't know that.
And that was the first time, and that's, to me, that's what I always say to people, like, it's a big deal. Like, I know sometimes people are always like, oh, I met the man of my dreams, and everyone's so excited about that. Leaving people that are not healthy for you, starting over, doing things on your own, you need to be celebrated, because it takes courage to do
does.
that.
And it's funny, I did live by myself for a little bit with him, but as soon as I had made that decision to live by myself, he kind of weaseled his way in, like that manipulation a little bit,
Right.
to live with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't really want that, but I also didn't want to feel lonely.
Yes.
So I didn't stand up for myself of what I wanted.
Yeah.
So.
And so I think it was like a gradual thing, but over time, she was not reacting so much to things. If things that used to bother her maybe aren't going to trigger her as much, and also as frequently or as deeply. So that was that's a huge thing too,
Yep.
because that was affecting so many other things. And then she ended up, when you ended up losing like 40 something pounds
I lost so much weight that first year
Yep.
after the breakup. And I truly know it was because my cortisol levels were lower.
Yep.
Truly.
Yeah.
I could feel it.
Yeah. Like it wasn't like, she wasn't so stressed out. And I think that contributed for you to be able to release this
For
pent
sure.
up anxiety and these emotions and stuff that we store in our bodies as women
Yeah.
too. I mean, everyone does, but especially with women. So I think that was a huge thing for you
I think so too.
in your journey.
I know so.
Yeah.
Thankful. That's not when people, I always say that too when people are like, how are you losing so much weight? I'm like, I hired a relationship coach. And they're like, what? And I'm like, not a personal trainer. You don't need it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm going to go around and Angela, will start with you. What was your biggest aha moment or breakthrough when you were working with Mara that you were just kind of like, oh my gosh, yes, I needed this?
I think the day that I got fired, and like I said, prior to that, I had so much of my worth tied into others, just everybody else. Like, am I worth it to everybody else? And the day that I got fired, I just felt like I stood up for myself and I was doing what I believed in, and I knew that I was enough. And so I didn't take it personally at all, and I don't know. I think I got a new boss the day before I started working with Mara. And so she went through that kind of like narcissistic corporate boss with me for a little while. So I think that aha moment was just, when he fired me and it didn't have an effect on me. I was just like, okay, like I'm having results because I set the boundaries, I did the work, and literally just my perception of my own worth just changed, with everybody. I think the boundaries that I set were for everybody, at work, with my parents, with relationships and everything like that. And everything just shifted. I think everything really just shifted.
Yeah.
So that was my big aha moment.
It is a
pretty
big one.
dramatic. It was a pretty
That's good,
dramatic
though.
aha moment. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Izzy?
So when I started with you, I had, you talk about core wounds, and I think everybody has these, everyone does. And I had a big fear of abandonment. And working with you, the big aha moment was when I started realizing that was like slipping away. And it was huge. Yeah, because you had, tools, you put tools in my toolbox that I would use daily. And through those exercises, I love the subconscious rewiring, because consciously we're like, no, that's not going to work. No, this is silly. But then subconsciously, after doing this day to day, you start to wake up and realize, oh my gosh, this is actually true. It's actually working. And I think, the stories I'd been telling myself so much is, you don't have a ton of friends. You don't have a big community. You need to stay in this relationship because that's all you have to fill your time on the weekends or whatever. And so when I started doing that work and I realized, wait, I actually have so much community in my life and in my circle. And the more I started doing the work, not only the more did I realize the community, I swear the more community I started building up to where now I can't get a second to breathe. I'm like, this is amazing. This is beautiful. And so the big aha moment was when my ex actually called back after 2 months. He called me. I was like, oh my gosh, he's calling. That moment, And he asked to hang out, and he asked to, I felt like it was kind of insinuating, let's kind of grow towards getting back together. And he said no, but we,
Right.
And it was just so easy to not want that. And I think that was the aha moment, like, wow, her stuff is working, because I can't imagine any other relationship I would have said no to or had, and
Right.
this kind of, the calls went on for a little bit, and I never had a feeling for a second like, oh, I should get back in, or I want to. The desire was gone.
Yeah.
Because I had worked on that. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, when you're on that pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing in that was knowing everything that I thought he provided that I couldn't receive anywhere else.
Yeah.
you teaching me, oh my gosh, you already have all that within you, or within your friends, or within your
Right.
routines, or within your clients. Like, you already have all that he's providing you. So what does he provide that's above that? And when I realized nothing, I was like, well, yeah, whoa, now I am on the pedestal.
Right.
I don't need that, Yeah.
Yep.
It's so good. And before I say mine, it's just been fun. Angela, I don't know you as well. I'd love to
Yeah.
get to know you, but Izzy, have just, this is why you were such an easy referral for Mara. And I remember telling Mara, I was like, she will do the work. Like, you're so determined to like better yourself. And I admire that in you. So I think that's really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Mhm.
Awesome.
I think for me, Mara, I have to say that my aha moment wasn't with myself. It
Mm.
was with you, watching you transform.
Aw.
Gonna cry.
Aw.
But it was beautiful because you went through so much stuff. And I've always told Mara this. I feel like Mara's always like 3 to 4 years ahead of me and stuff. But she gives me hope because I've seen the work that you've done. And like she said, we've known each other for years. We've known each other through some crazy times. But I saw Mara's change. And I don't think that if I had just stumbled upon a relationship coach, I would have been like, believed it.
Mhm.
I don't think if somebody even gave me a referral, I would have believed it. But because I saw her do the work and I saw her change and I saw her have more emotional regulation and I saw how you were able to deal with bad clients, bad breakups, crazy friends, drama. I saw your peace and the calm, and I felt like a difference in your home. I felt a difference in you personally that drew me to you more as a friend, but it was kind of like, I'll have what she's having,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like,
Aw.
so that was my aha moment, which made me realize like, and I think still to this day gives me that like hope of
Right.
I can get there.
Aw.
I just love her so much, but
And speaking on
True.
that, that's why it was the easiest referral, because she just vouched for how much you had done the work, and nobody wants to hire a coach that hasn't done the work. Nobody, because
Yeah.
what is this? Just dollar signs, or you're just chat GBTing this? Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was huge.
Yes.
She was like, Isabel, I've seen her grow, and I was like, done.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Talk
I've
about
been in
that a
the-
little bit. Too
I've
many
been in
people
the
are
depths
chat
of hell
GPTing
with
it.
you guys. Trust me, I've been there. Wait, say it again.
I said, talk about that a little bit because so many people are using Chat GPT for like attachment. Like, so many people are labeling themselves right now. And maybe, I mean, maybe if people are
Yeah.
watching this podcast, they don't know anything about attachment. Let me wipe
Yeah.
this tear. Hold on, please. Yeah, so maybe somebody doesn't know about attachment styles right now. So maybe just touch on the 4 real quick and say what each one of us.
Yes. So attachment styles, if attachment theory basically is the way that you emotionally bond to people that you have learned through your caregivers as children. That's the short description of it. So however you were with your caregivers is how you're going to basically grow up when you're in relationships, because relationships are your mirror, and it's mirroring back to you the things that you feel are either been missing since childhood, like you haven't gotten, you're trying to get, so we're playing this out in our adult life. So there's 4 different styles, and I think of it like a spectrum. So on one end of the spectrum, there's the anxious attachment style. So who here was more anxious? Was
Not
it
me.
Not you? Not anymore. We
No,
don't
I'm
even,
kidding, I'm
that
kidding.
word is not even a word we'd use anymore.
I'm kidding.
No.
Definitely.
Okay, so anxious is the person who has that fear of abandonment. So close, the closeness is what they're always trying to get. If I'm close to you, then I'm safe. And if there's space between us, then that's scary and I'm going to lose you. So I need to get close. That's why they call them the clingy person or the needy person.
Right.
No boundaries, right? So they're doing the most for people, and then they often feel like they get the least, right? So there's that. And then the other end of the spectrum, like way on the other end of the spectrum, is the dismissive avoidant, which is completely the opposite, which getting close to someone is so scary because they were so neglected emotionally as a child that they don't know how to, they've probably suppressed their emotions so much because it's been neglected that they don't know how to be with themselves and others. So they like to keep distance. And their fear is that a relationship is going to take away their independence and their autonomy. So that's why when they're in relationship, they try to keep that space. So as you can see, opposites attract often. right?
Mhm.
So one side of the spectrum is anxious, the other side is dismissive. A lot of times they get together because they are the opposite, and so when the dismissive pulls away because they don't want to be close to you, that will activate the abandonment wound, and then the anxious person will start chasing this one. So there's that. Then there's the fearful avoidant, which is both. So yes,
Me.
I identify as the fearful avoidant. I literally have been everything. So I know how it is to be a dismissive, and I know that was most of my childhood up until my, I don't know what year, but then I changed into being more anxious. Anyways, it's just a whole cluster. So anxious and dismissive are what makes up the fearful avoidant. And that's very much because of the inconsistency that they had growing up. So their caregivers were their source of fear and their source of love at the same time. So do they really desire connection? But then once it gets closer, they push it away because they don't trust it. So the trust is their biggest core wound. So for anxious is the abandonment, fearful avoidant is the betrayal, the trust wound, and dismissive is they feel weak and they're afraid of having their autonomy taken away. So there's that. And then there's the securely attached, which is what my work is when I'm working with people, is to get you from wherever you are to securely attached, because these have all been learned in childhood. These are the things we've been conditioned. This is what we knew. We didn't know any different. And so we can unlearn them, decondition them, and recondition them and create secure attachment. Thank you. That's what I did.
Yeah, welcome to your TED Talk. No, that's good, because I didn't know attachment theories, styles. And then I heard Mara mention them. And then I heard other relationship coaches, podcasters talking about them. And now I feel like so many people just label themselves like,
Right.
oh, I'm anxiously attached.
Yeah.
But they don't know that they don't have to be, that they
Right.
can be more secure.
Yes.
Like secure. And it's funny because you and I were just recently at a football game. Y'all, Mara calls me out because she knows me, but she helps me think differently, because I remember being single, looking at all the men in that football stadium. And I said, something like, I wonder how many dismissive, avoidant men there are in the stadium, like a negative. And she said, probably less than you think, because remember, over 50% of people are securely attached. And I was like, oh, she's right.
Wow.
But she was right. And I have to start looking, instead of focusing on what I'm typically attracted to, dismissive, avoidant men, it's, no, Stetson, there are secure men out there.
Yes.
So
Yes. And I think that's the thing. The other part you were asking was about people doing the work. And I do believe that because of ChatGPT or because of whatever, yes, you can teach people so many things, but I say this, it's one thing to know things. It's the other thing to embody it.
right.
And there's a
Exactly.
difference.
Right.
So you can know things and you can be studying it and think you know everything about it. But when you get triggered, when something shows up in your life, that's unconscious.
Right.
And you will be right back to square one because you actually haven't experienced going through the process and really doing it on an unconscious, at a subconscious level where you're actually changing this pattern. So we can know everything. That's why it doesn't matter, because your conscious mind is only 5%. Your unconscious mind, it makes up 95% of your patterns, habits, and behaviors. So if you studied attachment theory for 20 years, that's great. But if you really haven't experienced how to break through that or really get to you, there's a different element to it. So that's why for me, I literally have gone through all of it. And it's so, and it's been a wild ride. But when you get off that roller coaster, it's such a difference.
So worth it.
It's so worth it because your life has completely changed.
Right.
However, most of the time, yes, there are people out here, that they probably do know about it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that you know the work and embody it and can heal it.
Can heal it.
Yeah.
Or even if ChatGPT gives them something, they don't have the accountability for the follow through, talking through it. Am I doing this right? This isn't working, stuff like that.
Totally.
I love this next question, and I have such a great example of this one that happened to me this week. But how has your relationship with yourself changed? And I'm going
Ooh,
to start with
okay.
you.
I think just that whole self-worth aspect of it has really, I think before I wasn't even thinking about it as self-worth, and I was just doing what I could for everybody else, like always serving everybody else. And I said yes to everything and, just really went above and beyond for everybody. And I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
I really just prioritize my peace and my time and my energy, which is something like, honestly, like 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to say that because I would be somewhere, after work running around and grabbing somebody dinner, just like simple things that I thought, well, if I'm a good friend, I need to do this. Or, like I just thought of everybody else before I thought of myself. And now I know that I can't really be my best self for everybody in my life that matters to me unless I prioritize myself and my peace. Really just like my peace and my energy. But I think, like what Mara was saying, a lot of it has so much to do with the work because I had read so much about the attachment styles and I knew all about it and I could talk about it, but it wasn't, I was stuck, I was actually to what you were saying initially, I was in a 10-year relationship and I knew that I didn't want to marry him, but it was that chase and there was no progression to it. Like there was no progression to it. Where right now I'm in a relationship where he's still probably pretty dismissive avoidant, but I can voice my needs and he can choose to meet them or not. And he does, so I don't know. It's pretty magical.
Well, it's better when at least one person in the relationship's secure, wouldn't you say? Like, because if she's secure, he can be dismissive, but you can,
Right.
but you're secure. And
Well, and I think, I think like we're secure. We both still have personality traits, but our relationship is secure. Like
that's great.
Where before I think I would freak out, over a fight or anything like that because of fear of abandonment or trust or whatever it is. And now, like, I'm okay to have a fight and just take a little bit of space and be fine. Like, I don't freak out anymore because I know that we're okay and it's going to be okay.
I love that.
So all of that,
and you're engaged, right?
And I'm engaged.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah, but I think even with that, like, I am pretty funny about marriage, Mara knows. But I think for me, like, the end goal was just like a secure relationship. Like, I would just want to feel solid in the relationship. My parents are divorced. He actually is divorced. So I think like the actual marriage aspect for me doesn't mean what it means to a lot of people. It's more just having a solid relationship, like knowing I can count on you no matter what, and more just like internally, like being at peace with fighting or with whatever it is and not feeling like, oh my gosh, my whole life is about to be shattered. Like, no, it's actually not. We're fine, know? It's kind of crazy to hear myself say that just because, that I think that's the biggest change in me. I wouldn't have ever said that in the past.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, pretty powerful.
Izzy, what about you?
Probably awareness. Yeah, awareness for, this is relationship with ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Question? Yeah. Awareness for feelings when they come up that, you've really taught me and you've reinforced too. It's okay to feel them. Feel them, realize their feelings, and then maybe do a little reflection on where they're coming from, So awareness in that, awareness, like you said, of needs. I really had no idea about my needs until you did that worksheet exercise, which was so helpful of, oh my goodness, these are my needs.
Right.
I wasn't even super aware of these. Makes so much sense in my life now that I put it together. And being able to give those to myself so that I'm not externally seeking those, whether it's people approving you at a random event or a boyfriend that you're with giving you that need. You can meet all those yourself. So the awareness for what those are, the awareness for the feelings, and I think that's all worked together to just more space in my life, giving myself more space to breathe, think through these things, process them, and then realize, oh my goodness, I'm okay and this is working. And then see the growth from it. You've told me and like my parents told me, and it's just cool to hear other people say, wow, you've grown a lot. Because I'm like, you don't always see it in yourself.
Right.
But I've been putting in the work and I feel like it's working. So to see it is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, just to get that
Like
Not-
reassurance.
Yeah, like a
almost.
reassurance or
Mhm.
just someone like to see you,
Yeah.
just to see like it is working. It's
Yeah.
like,
It
okay.
is. My brother-in-law said that over the holidays. He was like, I told you that.
Yeah.
He was like, you've really grown a lot these past
Wow.
few years. I was like, I have, thank you.
You're like,
It's so good.
thanks.
I think for me, this happened this week, and for me, the biggest thing was I've always been a confident person. Like I've always said, like, yeah, I'm very self-confident. And if somebody had said, and I think Mara talked about self-worth, but I was just like, yeah, no, I know I'm worthy. I think being a Christian, I'm like, yeah, I know I'm worthy. So like I didn't resonate with having low self-worth until I really saw, but my actions and what I was doing was telling myself that you don't value yourself.
Yeah.
And I just didn't even put those two together. And then when I was like, holy cow, like Stetson, what? Like you are. And like some of the things that I didn't even realize I was subconsciously telling myself in my head. And so I caught myself the other day, like feeling bloated, like not feeling good, but I went to the gym and worked out and felt good. And remember just like loving on my body at the gym, like mentally in my head, like, girl, your thighs look good. Like, just telling myself these things because I didn't realize how much I was like putting my own self down, even though I come across as very self-confident. And I think that has helped me be like, love myself better to help grow my self-worth for sure. What about you, Mara? What's the biggest one for you? Because I feel like you could answer that too. Like, how do you love yourself differently?
Oh my gosh.
Or your relationship with yourself, how has that changed?
It's definitely has changed over the years. I think it's yeah, I used to not be able to like look at myself in the mirror, and I stood in front of one for work for so many years. It was awful.
Mm.
But I think like it was realizing I had a lot of these vices, that I would turn to for things, if it was food or drinking or whatever. And so the more that I was validating myself, the more I would heal myself or deal with some of this stuff and really confronted myself for every little thing. I think that was the main thing, was showing myself grace, actually seeing myself, because that was one of my big wounds, was like feeling like I wasn't seen, and visible, and like I was like invisible or something. So being able to do that for myself over and over again, and then the more that I would like go through some kind of a transformation program or whatever, what was always happening was it was just me getting deeper. And even though I had like these wounds and these scars, it was just having the compassion for them, allowing them to be there, and kind of taking my shadow side along with me and not trying to push those things away, that I just didn't like about myself or maybe whatever. It was just kind of like, no, like we're all coming together now. We're all going to keep moving in this direction, because this is actually what's going to it's part of the journey. There's polarity. You don't know what lightness is without darkness. So I stopped fighting myself. The less I'm fighting with myself, the more I accept myself, the more I would see other people do the same. So it always starts internally, right? It's always going to start with me. So that's why my relationship now, if I don't like something that's going on outside of me, I'm like, okay, what's going on internally? It's reflecting something back. So that's why it's always going to be a work in progress, because you're never going to be perfect, because that's not even a thing. But there's going to be layers, there's going to be levels. And so the only person that's going to be able to meet you there is yourself.
Okay, so I am going to end it. This has been so fun. I could talk to y'all for hours. I feel like this is an episode of Sex in the City already. But I would love to know what's next for everybody on your growth journey, like what you want to see maybe transform for the future. And I guess I'll start and we can go around, and then Mara, you can say the same and then let everybody know how they can get their own transformation. I think for me, when I turned 40, I'm 41 now, about to be 42. But when I turned 40, I realized like I have been so unhealthy in the decade of my 30s. My 20s were great. 30s, I feel like I could have done so much better. I don't want to live with regret. I think I just want every decade to be better. So in my 70s, I want to be like, yes, this is, I'm having so much fun. I want to physically feel good, spiritually feel good. Just have all the things. And I'm excited that you're a part of this journey with me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think trying to get all the different aspects of my life balanced, like if you've ever seen Life by Design stuff, I just want to make sure that I've been working on myself for a while, like mostly relationships, and of course that goes into work. But I'm running 2 businesses right now. And so I just want to apply all the things that we work on with Mara and boundaries and everything in my personal life to my business, and to really be able to set those boundaries and feel good about whatever it is that I'm doing at the end of the day, because it's hard, it's really hard sometimes to really bring it into the business world, especially I think for me, because I was trying so hard to separate it. And Dimitri and I work together, so it's so entangled. But I think, yeah, just having my growth with everything that I work on with you really go into my business life. That's what I'm working on next.
Yes.
I want to just keep doing the work and seeing, where it goes. I think things with my business are going really well, and I don't want to make things overcomplicated. So I really want to keep doing the work, seeing how, I can keep understanding my needs, keep working on boundaries, and just see how that continues. I know it's going to only continue to grow and become I can become a better version of myself. So just continuing the work. Yeah. That's my answer.
I love that. It's so inspiring. I just want to thank you guys for just showing up the way that you did, because you make my job so pleasant. It's so fun to see this, but really because I really want you guys to give yourself a pat on the back, because I know that it is not easy sometimes to face what we've been hiding, right? Or what we don't know. So I want you to really honor yourself for that. It's a privilege for me to see you guys grow. So for me, all it does is inspire me to keep growing. I'm actually back in school again.
Yay.
But that is going to help elevate my clients, have faster transformations, because why not? And also deepen the just the learnings and the teachings, and so I can also help and grow and help a lot more people. So that's what I'm up to now. This is what I see for myself. I see for my future, and yeah, I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad we're all rocking together.
Yeah. And where can people find you if they want a transformation? If they want some of our transformations, where can they
Yes.
find you?
I'm hanging out on Instagram these days more so than any place. So you can find Mara T. Palermo there, Facebook. You can go to my website, marapalermo.com, and you will find me. Just find my name. Trust me, I'm everywhere. So
I love that. Well, cheers, guys.
yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mixed.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.